What's up, y'all? Hammer in the building here today, week 9. No Stevie B in the house. It is your boy Hammer rolling it here for the next hour or so, bringing you some starts and sits, any Q&A. Bagala should be hopping on with me to run the show for a little bit. So if you guys have any questions, any comments, any last minute starts and sits, throw those questions in the chat. We'll get those answered for you. Looks like Matthew Stafford. I know we talked about this last night. Matthew Stafford definitely not playing. So Brett Rippon is in. We got the Chiefs and the Dolphins going at it right now. And the Chiefs all over the Dolphins currently 21-0 early in the second half. Very interesting to see the Dolphins kind of not get anything going. Thought this would be a fairly high scoring game. Although I did say yesterday or last night, I did say that, I felt like this would be not as high scoring as many of us might have thought. So 21-0 early in the second half. Dolphins really can't get much going. Jalen Waddle got a little banged up there in the first half, but it looks like he did return to the field. So any of those starts and sits, like I said, any questions, any betting props you want to throw out there, throw those in the chat. Any game lines, I'm big on the game lines. We'll go over that. Looks like Mahomes is having a really, really nice first half. Looks like Bagala has jumped into the There he is.
Yeah.
What's happening, bro?
Chilling.
Well, I will say I do appreciate Bagala jumping in. It was kind of last minute. I really am not used to running the show by myself, so Bagala was really busy this morning with his daughter's basketball, but he was nice enough to jump in with us today and run the show. So we'll be with you guys for about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how busy we get up in here. We had a hell of a show last night. Bagala, you got any starts and sits? Anything that you are kind of wrestling with?
Not really. I mean, I think we went over it a lot last night. I'm huge on Chuba. I was huge on Rashid Rice. You see, he got the touchdown already today. He's playing really good. Kelsey's shitting it for me. I had him on 70 plus receiving, and it doesn't look good. But yeah, that's really it. I was huge on Chuba. Aaron Jones, I think, comes into the fold this week.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to have a pretty good game. I'm starting him out there. So those are just the two guys that I can think of off the top of my head. If anybody has any questions, any other things that they need help with, we're here for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But
all day,
for my teams, those were the two guys for me that I was looking at today.
So we currently have the Dolphins and the Chiefs going at it. Chiefs up 21-0. Did you catch that score yet?
Yes. Somebody asked about the defense last night.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Should
I was
run
thinking
with the
about
Chiefs
that too.
Defense, and he gave excuse me, the other options, and we basically told him go with the Chiefs defense, and they end up getting a touchdown on a crazy play where Cheetah fumbles the ball. I think it was McDuffie picked it up, laterals it backwards, and boom, there you go. Chiefs defense. I started them and one redraft league, and they're playing pretty damn good right now.
Yeah, paying big dividends, and they're pitching a shutout, which I'm a little surprised, to be honest with you. Miami, we're basically midway through the third quarter, and Miami has exactly 0 points on the board. So
what's even more surprising is that Miami's been in Germany since like Tuesday. And the Chiefs they didn't get there till Saturday. So that jet lag, that travel doesn't look like it's affecting the Chiefs too much. Maybe the Dolphins partied a little too hard out there in Germany. Who knows?
Oh, for sure.
They might have took a boat trip. Who knows?
Hey, yeah, you know all about that boat trip, so
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
not we don't want to revisit that boat trip. All right,
No, we
so
don't.
let's go over. I went through a bunch of the inactives yesterday. I kind of updated today. There's not too many have come in. So what we'll do is we'll just pivot to some of the games coming up, and we'll kind of go on some of the guys that we like in these particular games. So we'll start off with the Seahawks and the Ravens at Baltimore. Two good teams, 5-2 for Seattle. I think that's a bit surprising. And then obviously you got the 6-2 Ravens, who kind of look to be controlling that AFC North. What do you think about the Ravens and Seahawks today?
Oh man, the Ravens look good, don't they? They look really good. The new offensive coordinator, Lamar's flinging it around a lot. He's not running as much, but he's running just enough. He looks, they look to keep him healthy. Seahawks on the road, right? I think Seahawks are on the road for this game.
Yeah,
I like
at Baltimore.
at Baltimore. I like the Ravens. I think this is a big Mark Andrews game. We said it last night. Oh no, we didn't actually. We were off stream talking about a few things, and Seahawks got really good corners on the outside. So I think it's going to be a Mark Andrews game inside the numbers and things like that. So you should look. I feel you should look for a big game for Mark Andrews today.
I like it. I like it a lot. I just really quick. I just got it inactive in case you guys are in IDP leagues. We are Bagala's home dynasty league is an IDP league. Quay Walker out.
He's been really, really good this year. I mean, he's had some bonehead plays. Some things you just can't do. But as far as just production and the IDP, he's been solid with the tackles, sacks, everything. So that's a big loss.
So if you're looking to replace Quay Walker, Devondre Campbell would be a fantastic pickup. I actually picked him up in your league with Quay Walker kind of being questionable all week. I have to pick up another player because I have a ton of guys on bye. But Devondre Campbell, definitely a nice fill-in. He was a beast last year when Quay Walker was kind of finding his footing in his rookie year. So if you're able to pick up Devondre Campbell in your IDP leagues, go ahead and do that.
Yeah. Also, another guy, Nakobe Dean I've been high on from Philadelphia. He came back from injury, had a big game. I think if it wasn't last week or 2 weeks ago, but he's another name out there that should be on the waiver wire.
I like it. So I actually have to go in and pick up somebody. But while I'm doing that, we'll move to the Cardinals and Browns. Browns at home, 4-3. Cardinals on the road, 1-7. Pretty big
rookie
spread
quarterback.
Here. Rookie quarterback and Clayton Tune. So really interesting. Give us your feelings on the Cardinals Browns game.
Could be a bloodbath, right? It could be a bloodbath with Myles Garrett and those boys getting after. Cardinals aren't really a good team. I'd feel a little bit more comfortable if it was Josh Dobbs. But rookie quarterback, first start, and you draw probably the number one defense in the league with Myles Garrett, who's doing crossovers on offensive linemen. So, I think it could get away from them unless Clayton Tune is just a second coming. But it could get this could be a blowout, and I think not because of Deshaun Watson or that offense. I think the defense is going to get after this young quarterback here.
Oh, Tua just slung a touchdown pass to Wilson, not Jeff Wilson, the receiver Wilson, I believe. So 21-7. I wish it was Tyreek Hill. That would help me out in the subscriber league, but
I do too. And he's been, but you had to think Andy Reid's not going to let Cheetah beat him, right?
You would imagine. Cheetah's getting a lot of underneath stuff.
But he can take one of those if you fall asleep. Cheetah can take one of those to the house. So he's always viable from anywhere on the field to score a touchdown.
For sure. Next game up, we got Bucks and Texans. Both teams 3-4. Both teams kind of trying to figure things out. CJ Stroud coming off the really bad game. I think the Bucks have been a little bit better than we thought, but A little hit or miss here, but Bucks Texans. What are your thoughts there?
Bucks need a win here, right? They've been a little bit inconsistent. They've been falling off. They looked really good coming out, and then after the bye week, they tapered off big time. Um, you know, Baker Mayfield's been up and down, but he's been better than the original Baker Mayfield, let's say, that we've seen in past years. He's been a lot better. But man, that Houston defense has been flying around. D'Amico Ryan's got that team playing really good. I think they're better than we thought. I wouldn't be surprised if Houston actually wins this game. But if they do, they're going to have to throw the ball because the Bucks have a strong front seven. They got really good linebackers. Look for Nico Collins probably to get something going. You know what I'm saying? And Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin's been really good these past couple of weeks. And but I think this is a Mike Evans game. Look for Mike Evans to get in the end zone. If you got Mike Evans, he should feel comfortable about this matchup as long as Baker Mayfield doesn't revert back to his old ways of turning the ball over. But he's been good, and Ricard White has been really solid. I mean, not running the ball, he hasn't been solid running the ball. He's been a little iffy there, but with the receptions and everything like that, he's been putting up big days. So I think I like Ricard White as a RB2 today, and I think he should have a solid game in the passing game like he has been.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree with that. I do think the Texans have been a lot better than we've kind of expected. They seem like they're ahead of schedule. Obviously, they have their quarterback, and that's extremely important. They got some skill guys, and Nico Collins and Tank Dell. So you kind of like what they're building there in Houston. I really do like that team. So yeah, I actually take the Texans to win. They're favored by 3 at home. So I do think the Texans take that game in an interesting battle there. Next up is another one of those kind of, I don't want to say bloodbath type of games, but you got the Saints defense at home against Chicago Bears. Badgett or Badgett. I don't even know how to pronounce that name. You got Badgett against the Chicago Bears. I don't know where the Bears go. Are you starting any Bears players?
I mean,
you have them.
Badgett's been decent. He hasn't been terrible, right? So he's been getting the ball to playmakers and things like that. But to go on the road into New Orleans and play against that defense as a rookie quarterback, and I would if you got DJ Moore, depending on your other options, you got to start him, right? Because he's been pretty good. He's been solid, and he's like Steve said last night. He's still getting the targets. So, but if I got a better option, I would want to get away from. I would want to get away from those Bears players just for right now. But if you got DJ Moore, you got to start him. You do it, at least he'll get the value. He's the number one receiver there. You can hope if anybody, he'll get some work there. But like you said, it could be a bloodbath depending on the turnovers and things like that. New Orleans is a really tough place to play. So we'll see. We'll see if the Bears can keep it close. But I like the Saints in this game. I like Alvin Kamara. Bears defense is not that good, and hopefully, let's see if Chris Olave can get off the snide here. You would think it'd be this game, a game like this against the Bears, a bad defense, where he finally puts up some points. If Derek Carr can throw him an accurate ball.
For sure. Yeah, I pretty much agree with all of that. I think that the Saints should be able to control that, and I think having Alvin Kamara back is really big for that offense because it provides Derek Carr with that security blanket. It kind of
steady the ship.
Yeah, exactly. And I've watched a lot of games, and it looks like they're just zoning up the Saints, right? They don't want to give up those big plays to Shaheed and to Olave. So there's been a lot of underneath stuff. I do want to see the Saints kind of move the ball to Olave a little bit more and kind of reestablish him as that kind of wide receiver 1-ish that we really think he is. So yeah, I like the Saints as well. But I want to see them get the ball downfield a little bit. I want to see Derek Carr kind of get in a rhythm and really utilize Chris Olave. And obviously, I'm saying that because he's on my fantasy team.
Yeah,
But
but also, you got Shahid's a baller,
Shahid,
right?
yeah, Shahid is
He's
good.
really good, and I think that's where we're seeing like a lot. Last year, you saw Chris Olave going down the field, catching bombs and getting those big plays, and I think defense is shifting to him, and now you're seeing Shahid get those big
Mm-hmm.
plays down the field because he's emerged as a deep threat and somebody that's really dangerous. That if you don't keep your eye on him, he can take the top off of a defense. So I think it's more of how teams are playing the Saints, but
Yep.
also you know Derek Carr has to be better in getting Olave a catchable ball. Olave's had some drops, let's say,
Yep.
in a
Yeah,
couple of.
yes.
So he
Not
has
very
to be better.
efficient.
No, he has to be better also because he's getting the targets.
For sure, for sure. I definitely want to see Olave be more efficient, especially with that catch percentage. So this looks like a good kind of get right game for the New Orleans Saints home against a not great Bears team.
100%.
Next game, very interesting game. Atlanta Falcons 4-4 at home versus the Minnesota Vikings. What are you looking for in that one?
If there's any ever a time for Kyle Pitts to actually break out, it would be this game, right? There's no Drake London. You got a better thrower of the ball, let's say in Tyler Heineke,
Yep.
whatever his name is, that he's passing the ball. And he likes to find his main target. And Kyle Pitts should be his main target. I don't know what Arthur Smith is doing, but let's get 8 the ball, right? He's fast, he's big, he can catch. Get him out in space. Enough with this Jonnu Smith garbage. I mean, Jonnu
Not
Smith
feeling it.
he's a solid tight end. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Cool, but we don't need to be doing double reverse passes with Jonnu Smith. All right, and that's about it. But I do expect Bijan to struggle. Minnesota's run defense has been pretty solid over
Yeah.
these past couple of weeks, so I don't think Bijan he could have a good game, with the passing and everything like that. But I think Bijan tends to struggle today on the ground a little bit.
Okay. Interesting take. Isaac, what's happening, bro?
I
Man,
don't
where is Reek at?
I don't know, bro. Andy Reid is gonna bracket him all game. He's not gonna let him get over the top. He knows what he likes to do. They're pressing
Yeah.
him at the line, and they got a safety over the top. So he's gonna have to break a slant, and that's what it's gonna come down to. But me and Polish were watching certain games, and you could tell he's gonna get one shot. Tyreek is gonna get one shot here in the second half, and that's all he's gonna get, and he got to connect. So we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll
for
see. He'll
sure.
get a shot, Isaac. He will get a shot, and that can turn the tides of the game, and a lot of fantasy on his games. But they're gonna have to connect on the shot because they're not gonna let him get loose more than once in the second half here.
Yeah, what's interesting about that is, and you kind of brought this up when we were kind of chatting before the game had started, Andy Reid, Andy Reid knows Tyreek Hill. Like it's that simple, and he kind of knows what he likes to do. So you would think if there's anybody who would have the best game plan, I know Bill Belichick kind of you could throw in there as well. Oh, Patrick Mahomes spitting up blood. Oh, Dolphins take over in plus territory. Damn. Andy Reid would be the guy that you would think would be able to kind of have a game plan to neutralize a guy that he knows very well. So, yeah, I think
100%.
that's a really good point there. All he needs is one.
That's
No
all he
doubt about it.
needs.
No
That's
doubt
all
about
he
it.
needs. But that's all
And
he's gonna get also.
that's the beautiful thing about having Cheetah on your team is that he can have a game like he's having right now where he's got 6 catches on 7 targets for 46 yards. He does have that fumble which could loom large. But like you said, man, the guy can score from anywhere, and he's the great equalizer in fantasy football if you have him on your squad. So the dude can score from anywhere. He's a quick strike guy. It's one of the most fun things to have is Cheetah kind of at this particular point where, like you said, and obviously Isaac's right on the money where he said all he needs is one for sure.
And I always tell you this also, Hammer. He's probably the most volatile player in all of fantasy sports, right? He's the most volatile because when he does go boom, when he catches one, it's not only one, because then he starts to catch, you know what I'm saying, another one, and he just starts to go off the rails, and it's like, oh my God, Cheetah's going boom. Let's hope I can hold this, hold the fort down. So what's up, Marty? How you doing?
Marty, what's happening? My man in the house. What up, Hammer and Bagala? Not a guest, Bagala. You know what, Marty? We appreciate you for that. Bagala's been, you know what? He's been here a lot more recently, and that always puts a warm feeling in my heart when he gets on the show.
Absolutely, thank you, Marty. Not a guest, Bagala.
There it is. So, yeah, also really quick, just to wrap up the Tyreek point, is that when he catches those bombs, it demoralizes the defense because he can do that and you do everything you can to stop it. But when it happens, it's just like...
He's like, oh, my God, what more do I have to do, right?
It's like Steph Curry hitting those 40-foot three-pointers. You know what I mean? It's just like, what can we do with this guy? So, yeah, so Tyreek Hill, the great equalizer, as we talked about. Let's see what else. What are some of the other games we got? Guys, if you got any questions, throw them in the chat. Any last minute starts and sits. We're approaching 12 p.m. I haven't really gotten any additional inactives. We usually get those in at around 11:30, which would be 90 minutes prior to game time.
Yeah, so we haven't. They got three guys all over Tyreek every time he's running around.
So yeah, we haven't got a ton. DeMercado's out. I know we probably brought that up on a previous show. I actually had DeMercado in a redraft league, so he's out. Drake London, we've talked about, is out. So Josh Palmer is out. Stafford's out. Yep. So just reviewing some of those inactives for you guys. Marty says Chuba or Keontae Ingram.
Just based off of matchups here, Marty, I'm going Chuba. Like, Ingram has a really tough matchup against the I've been saying it, Cleveland's defense is probably the top defense in the league right now. They're on fire. So I'm steering clear, even though there's no DeMercado, I'm steering clear of that matchup. I don't want to run Ingram into that wall and bang my head over and over and over again. And I think Chuba has been good, and he's getting a start. And he's viable out of the backfield to catch the passes. Hammer alluded to it last night. The Panthers, Frank Reich, they're over Miles Sanders' shit, and
that's exactly what I said.
Yeah, they're over his shit. He got injured. He opened the door for Chuba, and I kind of think, I know they had CMC, but Chuba's always been a good backup. He's had those games where you see flashes where he can do a few things. So I like Chuba over Ingram today.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point you brought up because when CMC was hurt, Chuba filled in pretty admirably, and he was obviously a very popular pickup when CMC went down. So yeah, I totally agree. I'm going Chuba here as well.
Yeah, I'm starting Chuba in the home Dynasty league also.
Yeah, in a better matchup, like you said, Keontae Ingram on a not good Arizona team with a rookie quarterback going into the dog pound. We don't like that matchup at all. Marty, Jaron Hall or Brett Rippin?
Ooh,
that's spicy. Damn, Marty, you must be really desperate. You must be really desperate, Marty, if you're scraping the bottom of that barrel.
Really, really desperate. The Packers defense has not been good in recent weeks, right?
No.
And I think we've seen Brett Rippin slinging around for the Broncos a couple of years ago. He's capable of doing that. If not, they would have started Stetson Bennett, right? So are you going to go with the known or the unknown here? I like Rippin's match. I don't want to start either of them, but if I have to, I think I'll go Rippin. Rippin's the safe bet. If you want a little bit more upside, you go Jarrett Hall. Maybe he can run around also a little bit and things like that. But for me, I'd start Rippin. I like his matchup a little bit better.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna lean that way as well against the Packers D. That it's not great. It's okay in spots. They are in Lambeau, and the Packers tend to play better in Lambeau. Sometimes they get some turnovers and things like that. But you still got Cooper Kupp, you still got Puka, you still got some things to work with there. The running game, even after Kyron got hurt, the running game with Royce Freeman and Darrell Henderson hasn't been terrible. Like it's been serviceable. So yeah, I think I'll go Rippin as well. But that's a tough situation. Isaac says he's going Chuba over Watson. Is that Christian Watson?
In
I
the
think that might
flex,
in the
it might
flex.
be.
I think. Yeah,
It
yeah.
might
I
be
think.
Christian Watson, and I'm not mad at you, Isaac.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that either, Isaac. The one thing I will say is Christian Watson, I think when we least expect it, is going to have one of those kind of, I don't want to say a breakout game per se, but Christian Watson is explosive, man. He really is. And he can kind of take one to the house. But I think if you're going for a solid, safe floor, you go with Chuba here in a pretty solid matchup. So yeah, I tend to lean that way as well.
Also, and I know the Rams don't have their back end is pretty suspect. You saw what the Cowboys did to him, throwing the ball all over the place. But I don't know that there's something about the Packers and their play calling with Matt LaFleur and things like that. So
Yeah.
it's a little rough. So I would definitely go Chuba too.
Oh, Marty, I feel that. You had Fields and Jimmy G, and he's got Russell Wilson on a bye. Woof.
Yeah,
Woof. Yeah. All right.
you're hurting for a squirting, Marty. Yeah,
Hurting for a
definitely.
squirting is right, for sure, for sure. Marty, appreciate y'all. Nah, Marty, we always appreciate you. You're one of the mainstays here. Obviously, Isaac as well. There's a few others, a bunch of others out there, and we're really building. Mostert touchdown.
I think we called Mostert last night too. So
we did call Mostert in some situations. So Mostert bangs it in. And it is all of a sudden, it's a one-score game at the end of the third. So very, very interesting. Marty said, yeah, flex PPR. And that is Chuba over Christian Watson. I think we both agree with that. So
yeah,
so
Chuba's gonna get some receiving work also.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Marty, it's getting down to that nitty gritty, and you're at the point in the season where you can't believe you're starting certain guys. And I've been in situations like that. We've all been in situations, especially in Superflex, right? And 2 quarterback leagues where it's like, God damn, I'm starting Zach Wilson. I'm starting, Mike effing White last year. If that was the situation you were in. So
100%.
We've all found ourselves in those situations. But yeah, appreciate you guys out there. We're gonna run through some more of these games. If there's any questions, like I said, any last minute starts and sits, any inactives pop in, we'll keep you updated with those. So let's keep this train moving. Next game is one that we were just touching on, is Rams Packers. The enigma that is my Green Bay Packers. At home, Packers are favored by 3.5 against the backup quarterback. I just wonder what the Packers are they gonna score in the first half? That is the question. Will my Packers score in the first half?
That's what we need to find out, right? Is Matt LaFleur going to call? And it's bad when you can't even get your first 10, 15 whatever so plays that's scripted to go the right way. You script those plays coming in. So it's like, what are you doing? I think that the thing for the Packers, what needs to be the mainstay for them and what they need to do to get off the schneid, you have to get 33 the ball. When you get Aaron Jones the ball, he does it. Good things happen for you. He's your best player. I know you got some young receivers on the outside, young tight end. Your 2 running backs should be your mainstay, but most importantly, get the ball into Aaron Jones's hands and good things will happen. I feel like that will open everything up. I know he's been hurt, but he's been on the field. You right?
Yeah.
So you got to get him the ball in space. Get him the ball in space and he'll make good things happen for you. If you're able to do that, then you got a chance in this game. Also, like I said, Rams back end is bad. I don't know what's going on with Christian Watson, but I like Dupes to get into the end zone here this week. I like Dupes a lot down in the red zone.
Yeah, Dukes has been pretty good from a touchdown perspective. The volume isn't crazy great, but if he's gonna keep giving you touchdowns, you kind of gotta like that. Like I've been saying this all year. I like the collection of the players, right? They're still super young at the receiver and tight end position, but I like the collection of talent. I like Watson with Dubes, with Reed, with Musgrave, with Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon, not so much, but AJ Dillon is a part of that backfield, and he kind of is the hammer, the closer for that team. So I love the collection. It's just, man, it has to be all put together. And maybe I'm expecting a little too much out of a fairly young and inexperienced offense as a whole, but it just feels like they should be better than what they are. You know what I mean?
They should, and I think coaching is not doing their young quarterback any favors. Right?
Yeah, I would agree with
They're
that.
just not. They're playing way too conservative in the beginning of the game, and then
Mm-hmm.
when they're down, they want to open it up and ask him to save the world in the second half. Right?
Yeah,
So
for
they're putting
sure.
their defense in bad spots, and they're just not doing their quarterback any favors right now. You have to be some a little bit aggressive in the early stages of the game. So what if the kid makes the mistake? You rather him make it early than late. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I feel like. They're just playing too passive early in the game.
Yeah, you touched on this yesterday, and something interesting that I've obviously noticed. I watch mostly every snap of the Packers games. Is those late game interceptions. Now, early in the season, he was making some clutch passes down late in games, especially against the Saints, and then there was another game that they lost close that they should have won where he threw the late interception. I forgot what the game was, but he's had opportunities to kind of win some of these games late, and he's thrown those key interceptions. But I am going to cautiously take the Packers today because they're in Lambeau against the backup quarterback. It's getting
If you
late
can't
early for
get
the
this
Packers.
game, if you can't
Yeah,
get this game, it's bad.
it's going to get bad for sure. So obviously you're starting Cooper Cup, you're starting Puka, even though it might be a little bit tough sledding, but you got to start Cooper Cup and Puka out there today. Next game is a game that I am not looking forward to watching or catching across my NFL red zone. Commanders at the Patriots.
Ugh.
Patriots favored by 3 points at home. So this could really be another low scoring game. I could see this being like a 20-13 kind of game, 17-13 kind of game. What are your thoughts on Commanders Patriots?
I think it's gonna. I think, like you said, it's gonna be a low scoring game. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to watch it. I mean, I love me some Sam Howell. Don't get me wrong. I think Bill Belichick is gonna give him fits today, and they traded away most of their offensive defensive line. Like,
Yeah, they did.
where is the pressure going to come from on Mac Jones? Even though I don't like Mac Jones, but for some reason, I think the Patriots backs, the running backs, have a big game today. Look for Zeke to probably get in the end zone here, and Stevenson, which has been a disappointment this year, I would say, to get a little bit of work. So yeah, look for this to be a low scoring game. 17-13, 13-10,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe those running backs get into the end zone.
I like it. I like it. Connor, what's up, bro? Appreciate you joining us here on Sunday. It's not even Sunday morning anymore, Sunday afternoon. Daylight savings time hit last night, and I was actually up after the show a little bit. I was on with Bogey and Steve, and we were BSing, and then I took a shower. And then I come out of the shower and it's close to 1:30. So I'm kind of getting my stuff together, whatever. And then I look up and it's 1 o'clock again. And my microwave and my stove, they're at
Everything's
2,
all out of whack.
and everything's all out of whack. And I'm looking around, and then I go to my phone. My phone says 1, my microwave and my stove say 2. And I'm like, what the hell? I look at my calendar and it said daylight savings time. I'm like, God damn, already? So yeah, so
Yeah,
we're an
that's a
hour
little wild.
behind, or we're an hour back. But yeah, so we're here, 12 o'clock, counting down, got another hour or so. Connor, let's get to Connor's question. Josh Downs, Jordan Addison, Zay Flowers, start to full PPR. I think we had a very similar question last night, and we kind of talked about this. Josh Downs is questionable, and the problem with Josh Downs right now is that he plays at 4:00 against the Panthers, where Zay Flowers and Jordan Addison, they play at 1:00. So that's a really tough situation to find yourself in. I think by
default, by default, you have to start Addison and Flowers, because if Josh Downs doesn't play, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah, we're in lockstep with that. So Connor, go with Addison and Flowers. If you roll with Josh Downs, and he doesn't play and might come back to bite you, I'll take a look at the update really quick on Josh Downs. I do have him in my home redraft league, and he's still questionable, but it did say he's trending towards playing, for whatever that's worth. Downs' knee is on pace to play in Sunday's game. And with the 4:05 kickoff, Connor, that's a tough one for me. Depending on where you are, if you really need the win, I would play it safe here and go Addison and Flowers.
Yeah, because then also if you play Downs and he is supposed to play, he ends up, twisting that knee or having any kind of setback. Yeah, you'll be kicking yourself why you didn't start.
Mm-hmm.
Why you didn't start those two healthier options.
For sure. When we're in those types of situations, we want to go with the healthy guys for the most part. So roll with Addison and Flowers here. Patrick Mahomes just missed a bomb to MVS. Looks like MVS could have came up with it. The DB made a decent play.
It was good defense.
MVS, was good defense. MVS kind of looks like he had a beat on it. Could have came up with it. So Kansas City punting it back to Miami, and this game has gotten very, very interesting after Miami getting blanked in the first half.
Miami has one of those offenses, dude, where you just do not want to keep giving them chance after chance after chance. And this is where it comes in. And if Isaac is still watching and listening, you're going to get your cheetah shot right here. It's coming. Tell me when you see it, Isaac, and tell me if I called it the right way. On this drive right here, Cheetah's going to get a shot downfield, and let's see if he gets it or if he doesn't.
I like it. I like that call.
I'm usually a little good at those things.
All right, so the next game we have on our docket is Colts at the Panthers. 4:05 kickoff in Carolina. Indianapolis on the road. Gardner Minshew, Uncle Minshew, slinging it around. Colts favored by 2.5 at Carolina. What are you looking for in that game?
Uncle Rico. Actually, I'm looking for the Panthers to pull this one out. They came away with a big win against Houston. I think Bryce Young has a really good game this week, and I think you're going to see the Panthers play a solid game. Bryce is probably going to go over 250 yards. He's going to have a couple of touchdowns. I like Bryce today. A lot. I know Indy has a pretty good defense, but they are on the road. I think it's something to be said that Frank Reich was there last year, got fired, right? And I think Carolina, you see certain teams like this, Carolina gets up for this. They get this win for their coach, and Bryce plays really well.
Yeah, that's a bold pick by you. The Colts have been pretty solid. I mean, they've dropped a couple of games, but they're pretty solid with Uncle Rico in there. If you got Gardner Minshew, I know we had some questions on Gardner Minshew. He is 100% a viable flex play if you've got a ton of injuries, if you've got, the Jimmy G's out, the Matthew Staffords are down. If you had A-Rich, and you picked up Uncle
guys
Rico,
on buys.
Guys on buys for sure. Justin Fields, right? So Gardner Minshew is a fine super flex play. As
I would definitely start Gardner Minshew and feel good about it.
Yeah. Can't be mad at that. Cannot be mad at that. Next game. This one hits close to home for Bagala. New York Football Gigantes at the Vegas Raiders. All the turmoil in Vegas. Fired their coach, fired their GM, benched their free agent quarterback, porn star Jimmy. Lot of turmoil in Vegas. Giants, Daniel Jones, the return of the prodigal son. What are you looking for in that game for your
all
Giants?
that turmoil for the Raiders, all of it, everything going bad. Owner paying $85 million to guys who are not
Yeah.
there, and they're gonna come out and beat the Giants. So let's
No.
expect that. I do think Saquon has a good game because the Raiders cannot stop the run. So I think
Okay.
his line was over 72.5. I'm taking that. I'm crushing that. I think he goes over that. I like it a lot. But it just hurts. Like, why do I want Tyrod Taylor back as my quarterback? Right? Why do I? Why does it feel like, oh my God, Daniel Jones again? Right? You know what I'm saying? He has not been good. I understand. Giants fans are screaming to the high heavens that it's the line, it's the line, it's the line. Yes, the line is bad. But when you break it down and you look, he's not throwing the ball on time. He's not throwing it to his receivers. He's been inaccurate. He's holding. And they're just their defense has been playing a lot better. So
Yeah, it has.
they can get after the quarterback. So that's one thing they got going for them, but they can't generate any points. And they couldn't.
Sure.
They did better with Tyrod, but when Daniel Jones is there, they cannot generate points. And I think
Now,
Vegas takes this.
Do you think?
And I think if they can keep Aiden O'Connell upright, I think Aiden O'Connell will have a pretty decent game. And also, I like Josh Jacobs this game also.
Oh, Mostert fumbles, but Miami recovers. That's crazy. I'm gonna ask you a question really quick. Shamir, what's happening, bro? Appreciate having you here. If you got any questions, any last minute starts and sits, any game picks, even with the spreads and everything, we're here for it. Shamir, appreciate you being with us, bro. Yeah, really quick to just touch on the Giants. I did want to ask you from your perspective, do you think because when Daniel Jones was playing and the offensive line was so bad, Saquon wasn't around, that defense wasn't playing nearly as well, do you think Daniel Jones benefits from what seems to be, like I said, an improved offense, Saquon kind of being back, and that offensive line actually being better than it was in that first kind of quarter and a half of the season?
Well, maybe, but the offensive line, you can say it was better than it was. It's still atrocious, right? The offensive line is still bad. He's still going to run into those same problems. Now, you do have Saquon back. You can run the ball a little bit. I get that, but he's going to have to make plays when necessarily what the Giants are trying to do is 1, 2, 3, get the ball out. 1, 2, 3, get the ball out. You understand?
Tyrod was pretty good
the
at
offensive
that.
line. Exactly. And you saw the difference between him and Tyrod, where Tyrod was getting the ball out of his hands. You know what I'm saying? He was making quick, decisive decisions. And this is what has been missing with Daniel Jones, is where he's just not making those quick decisions, right? So he has to make those. He has to trust that it's there, because you don't have the time. You don't have the time to sit back there. And he just hasn't been doing that. We'll see what he does now. But I don't know. I just think it was a huge mistake to give him the contract. You should have paid Saquon. And, we're getting what we deserve. And hopefully we get a top 5 pick and we can get a quarterback. And, he can play half of next year and we can get him out of the fucking out of town. Like,
tell us how you really feel. Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, move on. Move on. Right. It's going to get ugly for Daniel Jones on this podcast. Move on.
All right. So Shamir wants to know, Atlanta or Cowboys defense? We touched on Atlanta. They're playing home against the Vikings with Jared Hall as their quarterback, rookie quarterback. Or are you taking Dallas defense against that Philadelphia offense? I think this is a fairly easy one. I'm going to go Atlanta here, but I want to know what your thoughts are on the Atlanta defense versus that Cowboys defense.
I'm taking Atlanta.
Yeah.
Cowboys, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, and they're going to throw the ball around a lot. And both teams are going to throw the ball. So I think But Atlanta's going to be a better play here because of the rookie quarterback. So
Yeah,
I'm going
I
based
totally
off of
agree.
rookie quarterback against or Jalen Hurts giving me that my defense against that rookie quarterback.
Yep, I agree. I'm with that as well. Appreciate you guys out there. Any questions, throw them in there. We're going to run down the rest of these games and then we'll hop off. I haven't really seen any additional starts and sits. So as I said before, when those come in, we'll get those to you guys. Jay, what is up, Jay? I like the mic setup. Hammer was good, crew. Everything is good, bro. Yeah, I wanted to bring a little bit more professionalism on my end and kind of really feel like I'm in it. So I was talking to the wife and we were online and we were looking at some mics. I went to Best Buy. I went to a couple of different stores and they had the all-in-one kit with the headphones, the microphone. We rearranged our living room. I got my Green Bay ownership back there hanging on the wall. So I wanted to give it a nice little setup to, like I said, bring some professionalism and actually look like we're doing a real podcast here. So I definitely appreciate that. Shout out, Jay. All right, so let's dive into a couple more games here. We have the Cowboys and Eagles 425 vehicle. That should be a dandy. Probably looks like, with the Sunday night game as well, probably the two best games that I'm looking forward to watching. So Cowboys, Eagles, what are you looking forward to there? Two teams that you hate, by the way.
Big time shootout. Yeah, I hate their guts, but big time shootout. I think it's a big time shootout. This game probably going to end up like 34-31. Eagles can't cover the blind side of a barn door back there. Cowboys are dealing with some injuries, losing Trayvon Diggs. They're going to have to deal with Jalen Hurts running around. AJ Brown has been a man amongst boys out there, so I'm taking CD for a big game. I'm taking AJ for a big game. I do like Jake Ferguson in this game also.
Mm-hmm.
Temper your expectations with the rushing. Both of these teams have really good fronts. If you have Pollard, if you have Swift, temper your expectations. Maybe they get in the end zone, but don't expect big games for them. But I think this is quarterback wide receiver game. The ball's going to go through the air. And I do think that we're going to see the Eagles come out on top. Maybe Mike McCarthy makes some, clock management mistake somewhere around there, like he always does.
Yeah.
And if they could both lose, I would love for both of them to lose. But
there could be a tie.
That hopefully. Well, then yeah. But I digress.
Yeah, I totally agree too. And like I said, this is one of the two games that I'm most looking forward to. And the next game, we're going to talk about the Sunday night game as well. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this game. I have I have Hurts on some teams. I have AJ Brown. I have CD Lamb. So really looking forward to seeing this game. Hopefully it is a high scoring game. Philly favored by 3 at home. If the Cowboys have any hope of winning the division, this is a game they have to get against Philadelphia. So most looking forward to that. I think Jalen Hurts has a big game. I think CD Lamb and AJ Brown obviously have been kind of really tearing it up the last few weeks. I agree with the temper the expectations on the running backs, but if you have Tony Pollard and if you have DeAndre Swift, you kind of have to play those guys. But as you said, kind of temper those expectations. Yeah, for sure. So we're definitely looking for a nice game there. Ooh, the Dolphins are moving. 6.5 minutes to go. Tua finds Tyreek over the middle. Yeah, this might go into OT depending on what happens, but a good game shaping up with that. A good game shaping up with that Dolphins and Chiefs game here in Germany to kick off Week 9. And then we're gonna go to the Sunday night game. We got Buffalo Bills at Cincinnati Bengals. So in prime time. You got Josh Allen, the Winter Soldier. You got Joe Cool. What you looking for? Bills, Bengals, rematch. I think this was the divisional matchup last year where the Bills that was the Stephon Diggs whining and crying game last year. Yeah. What are you looking for in Cincinnati here?
Well, I'm hoping we get the game we thought we were going to get before that divisional playoff game, right? When they were playing for the seeding, last year at the end of the season, because I think we all thought that was going to be a huge game. And I
Yep.
think this is going to be a huge game also, removed from all of the DeMar stuff and
Yep.
things like that.
Yeah. Good
Rematch. The
point.
Bills are trying. The Bills have to come and they have to show that they can. They want to beat Cincinnati. They sent them home last year. I think another high scoring game we're gonna have here. Look for the Winter Soldier, Joe Shiesty, Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs. They're all gonna have big games. It's gonna. I just this is gonna be the game. I feel the game of the week here. It could be game of the year nominee too. I think it's gonna be a really good one. Get ready for some fireworks. You're gonna see Josh Allen just running around like a madman. He hasn't been running this year.
No.
They dialed it back, but he can't help himself. He has to run. He has to run somebody over. There's something wrong with him. He's not wired the right way. So you're gonna see him running around. If you got the I forget what his rushing total is. I think it's up like 30, 40 for this, something like that. Smash the over. I think he runs around, and you're going to see vintage Josh Allen here. I'm taking the Bills.
I like it.
Taking the Bills to win this one, probably. Yeah, 31-28.
Ooh, I'm going to take the Bengals 28-24. Joe Burrow's healthy. Like, let's call it what it is. And the biggest sign that Joe Burrow is healthy is him running around, extending plays, making use of his legs. Joe Burrow is very underrated when it comes to his wheels. Very, very underrated. He's not Lamar. He's not Jalen Hurts. He's not the Winter Soldier. He's not that. He's not even Daniel Jones. But what he does is he moves around. He has excellent pocket awareness, and he uses those legs not necessarily to run, but to extend the play. And that's when you start to see the Jamar Chases, the T. Higgins, the Tyler Boyds. That's when they make those explosive plays. So give me the Bengals here, 28-24 at home over the Buffalo Bills. In Influxtive, 2K. I'm a little lost there, but we're going to call him 2K. There we go. Logan Thomas, Trey McBride, or Taysom Hill this week. That's spicy. I do like it. Full disclosure, Bagala and I were doing a parlay last week, and he told me to roll with Logan Thomas. Much to my chagrin, I did not take his advice, and I did not pick Logan Thomas. And Logan Thomas went out there and smashed it. He had a touchdown, and he went over all of his projected numbers. So shout out to Bagala for being on the Logan Thomas train. He does scare me because he does get injured in games a lot. So that's why Logan Thomas does scare me. But who do you like out of these three here?
I was definitely on Logan Thomas last week, right? Not this week. I don't like him. I don't like McBride. Give me some Taysom Hill against the Bears. I know Jawan Johnson's back and he hasn't been running many routes, but I think you start Taysom Hill, and if you get catches and receptions, I think that is like a plus, because what he is going to do, he's going to run the ball, right? And whenever they get down in the red zone, he's viable to punch it in and vulture a touchdown away from Kamara, So I like Taysom Hill this week over those two. I think Sam Howell struggles this week against New England. McBride, Toon is a rookie against that defense. I keep beating a dead horse, but that defense is legit. But Howell's going to struggle against Bill Belichick. First time meeting him, basically a rookie quarterback to Bill. Bill's going to put him in a spin cycle. He's going to send pressure from everywhere. He's not going to know what's going to happen. He's not, and plus the football team, we're going to call them the football team, the Commanders.
I love it.
I don't think the feeling around that building is really good. You just sold off your two really top guys on your defensive line. The writing is on the wall. I don't know if Riverboat Ron makes it through the season. So, this is not going to be a good game for the Commanders. Give me Taysom Hill against Chicago.
Yeah, I'm leaning Taysom Hill as well. The Logan Thomas thing is very interesting because Sam Howell, for all it's worth, has been really solid. I mean, let me just check really quick what QB
he has.
But He's been really, really solid, and actually a very surprising to me. Sam Howell, man, QB8. Like, damn, dude. QB8. I like it. So, uh, as much as I want to say Taysom Hill, I think I may go Logan Thomas here. But listen, I totally understand all the points you made in Foxborough. Young quarterback, Bill Belichick really has a field day with young, inexperienced quarterbacks. So I totally understand that point. And obviously, Taysom Hill's been really good the last couple of weeks. But give me Logan Thomas here. But I totally understand the Taysom Hill if you want to roll with Taysom Hill. Apes, what's happening? Apes, pick one, flex PPR, Chuba, Daryl Henderson, Zay Flowers, or Zach Moss. I'm starting JT. I think if you're starting JT, you're not going to run Moss out there.
Yeah.
This is an interesting one because Chuba is getting the start in a decent matchup. Zay Flowers, very, very interesting. I might lean Chuba here.
Flowers has a tough matchup. Like those corners in Seattle are serious. Like I want to lean Chuba, but Flowers, the Ravens are hitting on all cylinders, but he does have a tough matchup. I can see a scenario where Flowers really doesn't have a big game, and you miss out on Chuba. But just because of talent wise and Lamar Jackson and the team, I can't choose anybody over Zay Flowers here.
Yeah, I'm going Zay Flowers as well. Chuba definitely gives me a good feeling here, especially on volume. He is getting the start. So I'll go Zay Flowers, but Chuba, very, very interesting in this spot. Ravens at home, and they have a West Coast team traveling to the East Coast, playing at 1:00. I think Baltimore gets the win here. I think Zay Flowers has a solid game. He's provided a steady floor, not great, but a steady floor. Currently wide receiver 32 in full PPR. So something to keep a look at there. But yeah, we'll roll with Flowers, but we can understand if you like you some Chuba Hubbard this week. We definitely do in a lot of situations, but for this particular situation, I think we're gonna roll with Zay Flowers. Let's see. And that takes us to the Monday night game. Before we wrap it up and get up on out of here, we're gonna go to the Monday night game. Chargers at the New York Jets. Interesting kind of stylistic matchup here where the Chargers have a really good offense. They don't have a great defense. And the Jets are exact opposite, where they have a terrible offense, but a fantastic defense. So they always say styles makes fights. What are you looking for in Chargers Jets?
This is a game the Jets need to have if they're gonna, make a playoff push. They're probably gonna be fighting with the Chargers for, fighting with the Chargers for one of those wild cards, and they have to have this game. So where the Chargers have a boatload of weapons here, and we're gonna see what the Jets are about. Zach Wilson's gonna have to make some plays. Like, I understand you have a terrific defense, but you're going to only be able to hold Justin Herbert down for so long, you would think, with Eckler and Keenan and those boys. I think it should be a decent game for QJ on the other side of Keenan. Keenan's going to get matched up with Sauce a lot. I think QJ could see some work, and excuse me. He'll have some opportunities there, but for some reason, I'm gonna. I don't like the Jets, but I think they find a way to pull this one out. And the MILF Hunter makes the MILF Hunter makes a few plays.
Yeah, this is such a clash. Like I said, at the top of this particular one, such a clash of styles, right? If the Chargers get to 24 points, the Jets are not winning this game. Maybe if they get to 21, the Jets are not winning this game. So and if the Chargers can get a couple of turnovers, I think that really puts the Jets behind the 8 ball. Oh my God, everything screams the Chargers, the LA Chargers should win this game. but let's not rule out Brandon Staley and coaching in this particular scenario, right?
He does some bonehead things, dude. There's just there's just some things that we were watching the game early in the season. I think it was the Vikings and the Chargers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he goes for it on fourth down, where all he had to do was kick the field goal. Right now, it didn't come back to bite him, but it's just things like that
Yep.
where, oh
Yep.
no, he had to punt it away and he went for it in his own end on
And they
fourth
didn't
down and
get
gave
it.
the ball to the Vikings right there in inside plus territory. Now the
Yep.
Vikings didn't score, but you basically tried to hand that game over. Like
For
so,
sure.
this is a game where I can see that it gets tight and it's tight late, and because
And
the
he does
Jets
some
are
funky
playing such
stuff.
good defense, and he does some bonehead shit and costs his team the
Yeah.
game. So that's why I'm picking the Jets.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go Chargers here against my better judgment. The Jets have really surprised me in how well they played. I want to say how well they played from a defensive standpoint. Not that that surprises me, but I guess the bottom line is the 4-3 record definitely surprises me that they were able to get some big wins against Philadelphia, against Buffalo early in the season. You think when Aaron Rodgers goes down, it's going to turn into a dumpster fire, but I really do think that the Chargers should win this game. It would not surprise me in the least bit if the Jets go out there and win it 17-14 or some nonsense like that. It really would not surprise me. So against my better judgment, I'm going to take the Chargers here, and we'll see what happens. So that should be a really interesting game.
Two
to
guys
cap
I'm
off
watching.
week
Two
9.
guys I'm watching. Yep, two guys I'm watching in that game: Brees the Beast and Quentin Johnston.
Yeah, for sure. Isaac says, I think Miami ties it. Well, they're at midfield right now. Mostert is running really well here. Mostert just popped it into Kansas City territory. Under 2 minutes to go. Dolphins need a touchdown to bring this bad boy into overtime. Minute and a half ticking down. Raheem Mostert, 12 rushes, 86 yards, and a touchdown. Really nice game from Mostert. So Dolphins looking to push it in for the game-tying touchdown. Isaac, I think Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson score for the Jets. Hey, listen, if you tell me Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson score for the Jets, I like their chances to win that game. Obviously, those are the two best players on that particular Jets team. So we'll see what happens. I like those. Man, you gotta wonder if they had Aaron Rodgers, how the feeling would be around. Yeah, the feeling around that team would be, damn, we got this defense. We got Aaron. We got Breece is healthy. He's back. He's rolling. So that should be a really interesting game. But keep an eye on the coaching. Brandon Staley, as we talked about, does dumb shit.
He's gonna make a bonehead. Yeah. And you know what the thing is it's on prime time. Everybody's going to be watching. He's going to do something to cost them the game. And it's like, how many more times does he have to do it before you say, all right, enough is enough? Like you're hindering Josh.
You're not that guy.
Justin Herbert. Yeah. So it's like, it's bad.
I'll be honest with you, dude. I thought after that collapse last year in the playoffs in that wild card game against Jacksonville, I thought he was gone.
He was done.
I don't know how he survived that. He grew out a beard. Maybe he tried to look like a different dude in the offseason, grew out a beard. He obviously shaved it, but so that's something to boot. I thought
and then on top of that, the game with the Raiders, right? Where you could have knocked them out, the playoffs, whatever.
Yeah,
and then
that's another one.
It's like it's just so many bad decisions after bad decisions, and he still has a job. It's like if a doctor did this, it'd be called malpractice, right?
Professional malfeasance.
Yeah, like.
Oh, man. All right, so we're getting ready to wrap this bad boy up. We appreciate all you guys that were with us today. Isaac, Apes, Jay, 2K, Marty, Shamir, Connor. Nice little show we had. Stevie B was not with us today, apparently for a second week in a row. So Stevie B not with us today, but Hammer and Bagala holding it down for you guys on a Sunday on game day. We'll give you guys another couple of minutes. I'm just gonna refresh my sleeper here just to see if we have any additional inactives, but it doesn't look like anything else came down so far. I haven't really received any notices. So yeah, if you guys don't have anything else, we're gonna get up out of here. Hopefully you guys, pick up those dubs. The playoff picture is shaping up in your fantasy leagues. Are you going for the gusto, especially in those dynasty leagues? Are you tanking? Are you looking to make a midseason trade that's going to vault you over the top? So a lot to still be decided over these last 6 games in fantasy. Yeah, we appreciate it. We love it. We talked about this before. It's going way too fast. Like it's just flying by. The season is just, oh man, I can't get enough of it. Oh, on 4th and 10, Tua fumbles the snap, and that will do it. Kansas City is gonna win 21-14. Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
Time flies when you're having when you're having a good time, right?
When you are having an absolute blast. Yeah. So yeah, Isaac, damn fumble, and that is all she wrote. So yeah, we're gonna get up out of here. Like I said, we appreciate you guys. Bagel, I definitely appreciate you popping on and running with me. I was a little nervous to do a solo show by myself, so shout out to you for coming through.
When the hammer calls, the Bagel comes through. All right.
He answers the I put the bat signal in the sky, and he was there.
That's it.
All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good Sunday and a good Monday. We'll be with you on Tuesday for the Dynasty show. We out.
You play to win the game.
I was waiting for some words of wisdom. You play to win the game.
Absolutely.
All right. We up out of here.
Hello.